Dave,
John,
Shane,
Chad,
these Sci-Fi Guys.
Welcome to these Sci-Fi Guys. I am Dave, and with me is John,
What up?
Shane,
good evening, everybody.
and Chad.
Good evening.
I don't even dare. Chief.
Oh, I can tell it's going to be one of those nights, isn't it?
You know,
Oh, boy, it's going to be
I've had
one.
too much sun
I'm
today, so yes, a little delirious.
a little delirious, huh? Okay, today we are going to be discussing the movie WALL-E.
Why?
Yeah, WALL-E.
Eva.
All right. Let me just do the synopsis first, or plot summary. Synopsis, plot. It's one of the two. I don't know exactly the term. Again,
Either way,
we're all tired. I can tell we're all just like dragging. And we've got 2 pods that we're doing this week. So hey,
do it.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Are y'all ready for this? Are you ready?
Are you
Okay,
ready
here
for
it goes.
this?
Are you ready for this? Get ready for this. Okay. A robot who is responsible for cleaning a waste-covered Earth meets another robot and falls in love with her. Together, they set out on a journey that will alter the fate of mankind. There you go.
That
That's
was
the
well
plot.
done. That was well done.
Try to keep it short. Yeah, try to keep it simple. You know, could have got into a whole lot of, well, there was a lot of trash and you had a lot of the corporations, you know, you
We'll
had,
get into that.
you know, by and large and blah, 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 blah. Let's go behind the scenes. This is going to be a little short. Not going to do too much and I don't have a lot of pictures because I'm like, it was an animated cartoon. So you're just going to see people typing on computers and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do a lot of pictures. Core concept. The original idea was for this, that kind of brought about this whole movie was, what if humanity left Earth and forgot to turn off the last robot? That was their original idea when they were first starting this whole process of how they want to make this movie. WALL-E's design, the director was inspired by a pair of binoculars, of all things. He was actually at a baseball game and he picked up a pair and he was doing, you know, how they kind of move them and you can move one side to the other. And he kind of got the inspiration like, oh, okay. And that's how WALL-E's eyes ended up becoming his eyes. Eve's design was, Chad's going to love this, Apple's lead designer, Jonathan Ive. He's the one that influenced Eve's sleek iPod-like look.
Oh, there you go.
I'll make the joke for Chad's. Oh, so they based her off a trash can.
Nice.
I feel like it's in Chad's wheelhouse of a joke for Apple.
Yeah, it's hold up. Let me get this right. Apple's okay, but it's junk as a upgrades to computers. That's why it's a trash can.
I don't know. I'm using a Mac right now, so I
Me
can't.
too.
Well, I see when yours crash, you can't upgrade it.
That's fine. I got a PC right next to it, so if I need to,
You should.
I'm not
swap
dumb.
it
I
over.
keep both. I got both, but you know,
Swap
like
it
my
over.
All
phone,
about
is, like,
duality.
my phone is an iPhone. You know, I
All
got
is
an
balanced
iPad.
as it should be.
Yeah.
All is balanced. Oh, this is going to be a good show.
Mhm.
Okay, as I was saying, Eve's design, Pixar wanted her to feel advanced and graceful, just like Apple. In contrast
Not
to
like
WALL-E, Android's clunky charm. I really can't say much. My wife has an Android. She will not go to Apple at all. My daughter has an Android. My oldest son has an Android. Just me and my middle child are the only ones that have iPhones. So, and I just switched last year. So I had an Android for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
But the signal was better on iPhones and decided to go take the plunge.
There you go.
Okay,
So-
the theme and inspiration for the movie was environmentalism and consumerism. If you didn't get that by watching the movie, you weren't paying attention.
I would say because even as a child, I understood that it was about the environment, bare minimum. So they make it pretty obvious.
I was looking at B&O as Walmart. Oops, did I say it?
Amazon. The film critiques mass consumption and environmental neglect, but was made with a light, emotionally rich touch, is what they said. WALL-E is essentially a love story between two robots using human themes in a robotic world.
Okay.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
2001, A Space Odyssey, heavily referenced in the tone, pacing, and music. Basically, the autopilot, didn't it remind you of HAL?
Oh, 100%.
That's what it was designed after.
We watched 2001. We did it, John. Come on now.
Yeah, I said absolutely, as in it did.
Yeah, he did.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Do that.
Okay. Academy Awards. This movie won Best Animated Feature. There's a lot of I saw a lot of stuff online that people were complaining that they said it was a good movie, but it shouldn't have won, and that I forget what came out at the same time. Should have.
I'll say that depends on what it was up against, really.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
This also was nominated for best original score, also, but it lost to Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, I was gonna say it actually was nominated for 5 other things, and what Shane said was one of them. I don't know the other one. I know sound editing was one, but I don't know what the other ones were.
Yeah,
it was named one of the best films of the year, even the decade, by numerous critiques. So there you go. Let's move these things around because John's the one that picked this, so we'll move him in the upper left hand corner. And whoop whoop, and get some questions. All right, John, it's all you.
I just wanted to see how long we could do that.
Dead air,
anyway.
man. Come on.
I know, but see, now people are going to wonder why. They're going to wonder if I had tech issues again. Speaking of tech issues, in regards to the development of humans in this film, a lot of it does lead to how tech advanced, at least in WALL-E's world. And my first question to you guys is, do you think humanity would ever get to that point on the track we are now? Like, are we ever going to get to a point where we are just chilling in chairs, not doing anything? I'm not even going to say the space side of it, because that's a whole different conversation. But just in general, do you think we're going to devolve to the point that tech makes our lives so much easier that we just don't do anything else?
I'd say yes. I honestly, I mean, this was supposed to revolutionize. Oh, we can be able to have control, and we can talk more, and we can, be able to be communicated with, and in case of emergencies and all that. And now basically it's a leash. So because anyone can contact us at any given time. And I look at 3 of us are in the education realm, and look at today's generation. They spend more time watching us, watching podcasts, watching gaming, watching other people play games. My kids did that for a while. And I
mean, it's cheaper than buying them.
But why would you watch somebody? Where's the fun in that? You're watching somebody else play the game, I mean,
Yeah, because you couldn't afford to buy it yourself, so you just watch them play it, and then you get all the fun out of it.
Fair.
I guess. But I can see us getting on that trajectory to basically be lazy. And I mean, kids don't go outside and play very much anymore. You know, I mean, look at your sales of your bicycles, skateboards, balls, that kind of stuff is just plummeted, you know, because people are Xbox, PlayStation 5, you know, Xbox. What I don't even know what the latest one is.
You got
Xbox
Nintendo
One
Switch 2,
Plus,
Xbox something.
2, you know. Yeah. I
Yes.
mean,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, my generation's the one that kind of started it all. All right. We're the ones with the 2600 and the Atari 2600 and
Mhm.
in television, Magnavox, you know, Odyssey 2, that kind of stuff. My generation is the one that started. I mean, look behind me. You can see the video game system right there. You know, I mean, we started the video game realm. I mean, yeah, it was 8-bit, but we still were outside and still doing stuff.
Mhm.
I don't see this generation doing nearly as much. I mean, when I'm driving the bus and I have a first grader with an iPhone 16, and I'm like, what are you doing with a phone? You do not need to have a phone as a first grader. Come on.
Mhm.
So
Sorry.
Mhm.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with Dave on this. It's you want to say no and believe it that the technology will it's a tool, but no, everybody look at it as a crutch. It's something that they give you Dave was right. The cell phone was supposed to give you where you get emergency calls or where if you get stuck on the side of the road, you can call somebody. Or you at the grocery store, you can call home and say, "Hey, what do I need to get? I forgot the list." But now it's like, okay, your cell phone. It's got better computing power than what's sitting on what we're using to do this podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Boom. But the thing is, it makes everybody lazy. Oh, I can sit at home and just order my groceries, have it come to the house. I can order food to come here. So yeah, I can see us in the near future. Like, oh, I have somebody. I can have a robot cut my yard.
John.
Yeah,
John has one of those, so that's why
I'll get there.
I was waiting for him to say something.
Well, no,
I didn't want to call his name out.
let me jump in there, Chad. I mean, today, my son texted me or called us, and he was like, "Hey, what do you think of this TV?" He's like, "Mine died last night or this morning or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, it seems fine. It's a good price." And he's like, "Okay, it'll be there at 1:00." You know, he ordered it, and Walmart delivered it right to the house, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy what you can do, but it helps us. But it's also it enables our laziness as a society. And we're all church growing. We all, but I think both our churches, at least I know our church, sit there and we'll live stream our service just for the people who can be at home. That's great. But so I can see us doing something close to what this evolution will get to.
Shane, what about you?
So to me, so just to kind of narrow this down, let's talk specifically about AI. Okay, so let's talk about it. I think that there's a big difference between convenience and dependency. And I think that what we're talking about is some of the benefits of AI and this new technology is that things are very convenient. Things can be done quickly. Menial tasks can be done very quickly, so you can concentrate on other things. I'll be honest, in my position, that is one thing that AI has really helped me with, is some of the things that I can get done quickly so that I can concentrate on bigger things. And it's been a help. But I've also found myself sometimes where I've had to kind of scale back on it a little bit too, so that I don't lose that problem solving focus, or I don't lose that um not really ability. That's not really what I'm saying, but I don't go too far with it. Basically, is what I could say. So, could I see humanity going to something like this? Unfortunately, I think I could, because things become so convenient. You get so comfortable that I mean, these these things and these systems are running the whole society instead of somebody running the systems. So I mean, I think it could happen.
Yeah. And really, just to add on to you guys, is I think I agree wholeheartedly. Just even what I see myself doing, and even like the best of us, like if something is more convenient, it's just easier to do. And
Mhm.
in our worldview, especially, we live in a fallen world, and it's real easy to chase what's convenient, and that can be said for us too at times. And so, I mean, yeah, like you said, Chad, even myself, the automatic mower, my lights, there's just a lot in my house that if I can automate it, I do,
Mhm.
simply for the fact that it makes life easier and I can focus more on kids or getting to jobs or, just whatever. And that drives, everyone a little bit, and
Mhm.
especially as technology makes things easier. But I think the problem does happen when we do gain that dependency, like you said, Shane, because at some point, if the world is to falter, and I think ultimately it's got to head to a decision point in one way or the other,
Mhm.
whether either we take back control and do what we need to, or we keep devolving and war takes over. But at some point, the world's going to end up in a tough spot, and if we don't have people who know how to do the things that help us survive, it's going to be a lot harder to survive.
Right.
And I think we're very quickly approaching that event horizon where it's like, okay, we have all these systems, but who actually knows how to keep them going and where they started in case things go bad enough and we have to start back from a certain point. And I think that can get very dangerous. So I can see us heading kind of into this quote unquote devolvement where things get a lot lazier, but it honestly depends on a lot of what happens in the world as well. Because we do have a lot of this tech dependency, but if something happens to kind of reset that, then I could also see where we might wake up a little bit, but it really just depends.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of that quote, growth and change as humans, do you guys? I'll start with in general. Do you think we end up in space as a people, like off of Earth entirely?
Mm. I, that's a hard question to ask. In general, I don't see us there, and if we do go there and able to do it, I don't think the regular people are going to be in space. I don't think they'll have that bigger ship to hold everybody. It's going to be just like what you saw in what is that 2012 movie, trying to make when it was about to flood and making all those ships to
Those
withstand the
arcs,
flood.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
arcs. So I think we can get there, but I don't think it's going to be that big a scale where maybe a select few will be able to go.
Yeah, I think too. It's something that will be possibly talked about, especially as we keep going further and further into space. I can definitely see these conversations being held, especially if you are having, you know, natural disasters or you're having effects from whether it's pollution or environment or anything like that. I can see those conversations. Now if you take it to a biblical perspective, I think with what you read in Revelation, I think we're still here. I think we're still with some of the things that go on when Jesus comes back. I think that we are still here, but I do think that these are things that will be discussed, especially as technology grows and we get further and further into space. I mean, I can definitely see we are a people who like to expand our horizons, and we've done it all over the world. So the next step is space.
I have to disagree with you, Shane.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, we were already in space. We have already
Mhm.
been to the moon.
Hmm.
We already had people or ship out at Mars. And I think if we wanted to keep continuing on, we would still be having moon landings or we would still have shuttles or something. I mean, honestly, right now we have a private sector is the only one going into space. And that's Elon Musk with SpaceX. NASA's not doing anything; they're just sending satellites up. So I think something major would have to happen in the world for us to take that leap to do that. I just think that on the trend we're doing now, I don't see it happening, but it could. It really could.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm somewhere, I think, in the middle as well. I think if it were to happen, I definitely agree with Chad's sentiment that it would kind of be a socioeconomic divide, especially. I definitely think the rich would be the ones that would push off and then just kind of leave the poor and, well, it just poorer. I won't even say poor entirely. Middle and lower classes, I think, would be left. And so, those that could afford it would push off, and then we just have to figure the rest of the earth out. I could definitely see that happening more so. But in terms of us picking everybody up and launching into space, I definitely don't think we have or will have the tech to do that, especially not with, 10 billion plus people. I think that would be extreme. However, I think if the earth was bad enough that we wanted to do that, we probably wouldn't still have 10 billion people. So there's a bit of a touch there. So I think it depends, but I definitely do see it being more of the SES divide, the socioeconomic divide over the, everybody leave Earth. However, let's assume everyone did have to leave Earth. What do you think is more likely to cause the push? Is it going to be something with the environment like this movie suggests, or do you think something like nuclear war with other films suggested? Or are we going to have visitors that change us wanting to live here? What do you think is going to cause that push if that were to ever happen? Like, assuming we have to move to space, what do you guys think would be the most likely to cause that?
I don't know. The thing is, I'll go with nature. I'll go with we deplete the ozone. Like, we're so heavily rich on natural gas and cause the issues like that, and we don't try to protect the earth. And I'm not the one going to say, hey, let's shut down everything. We should be protecting and stuff like that. And I can see us doing something like this if we can't breathe on Earth no more. If we have to wear a oxygen mask just to go outside, like some of the movies that I've watched that looks like that. So just to be out there. I can also see nuclear war, like Armageddon. Like you can see like the nuclear war wasteland, like the fallout. That's just the two things I see happening.
I think it would be a nuclear war. That's my number one. I'm kind of I think it could be the same way as what Chad said, but I just think that as humans we're prone to do stupid stuff. And there's enough environmentalists out there, and there's enough things that have changed at least in my lifetime. Heck, we used to take oil. You change oil and you just pour it in your backyard. You don't do that anymore. I mean, they've gotten things have gotten better. Where they're like, oh, well, we need to take care of the environment. We need to make sure we're not dumping our trash in the oceans. We need to recycle when we can. Things like that. So I think that we have a conscious decision to clean up the environment as best we can within limited resources and budget and all that other stuff. I think that there could be a third world country. There could be one of the other superpowers just decides, you know what, we've had it, and we're gonna get war games, and we're gonna and someone and Joshua's gonna go ahead and launch all the nukes. To me, that's my number one scenario is the nukes. Shane, how about you?
So my original thought was a nuclear war too, Dave. But I'll be honest with you. So I just finished a book by Annie Jacobson that's called "Let's Go Nuclear War: A Scenario," And based on a lot of research, she kind of did it step by step, minute by minute, what would happen if a nuclear bomb was launched and we had a nuclear war break out. And it is a very, very good read. It's terrifying when you think about it, but it's a really good read. And my only hesitation with nuclear war being the reason we would leave is how fast we go from one nuke being launched to the world being over. Like it is literally within a couple of hours. So
That's true.
so trying to get everything planned and executed that it would take to leave this world when that is going on, that's the only thing I think would be a hesitance. Now, I'll be honest with you. What I kind of see happening more than just the environmental kind of thing is if we start seeing a more increase in natural disasters. Like, for example, if you started seeing stronger hurricanes, or you started seeing more
Like
outbreaks.
3 hitting Valdosta in a year.
Basically, yeah. But different things like that are out of the ordinary, that are really causing a lot of damage and affecting a lot of things that we can't recover from, then I could possibly see more of that scenario kind of going on, more than just kind of like you said, Dave, more than just like a global warming or something like that. It would have to be something that is a little bigger than that, I feel.
Yeah. See, like, let me go back and just tweak what I was saying. I do think that the threat of nuclear war is what it would cause us to go ahead and get all the gears rolling to do this. Not, there would be no way once they started flying, it's over. Game over. You know, you can't do anything else.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it was the potential of, okay, this is escalating. These countries are starting to really irk each other. They're starting to fight, okay, now this may be a time we may want to think about getting out of here.
Contingency plan. Yeah.
Exactly.
And see, my problem is I think I would prefer for it to be the environment that causes the push, simply for the fact that it's a slower burn and we have potential to correct that course at least a little better. And like you said, we've already started some of that, Dave. My only problem with if nuclear war pushes us to space, the timing is an issue, but also I feel like that war would just follow us to space. Like, I don't think there would necessarily be an end to it if we were to push off into space. And I think that's where I'm like, I kind of would prefer it for be the slow burn on environmental and not just to push it off to other generations. Like
but wouldn't environmental pushing us out into space, it would just follow us there because that's what kind of people we are.
I mean, true, but at least we can destroy another planet. Nuclear war that follows to space, we just destroy each other then,
True.
At least environmental, it would take longer. But that said, I see where the environmental does tend to correct itself, even if we humans don't. And I do think that's where, like, oh yeah, stronger natural disasters. Okay, if we're not going to correct it, nature will take care of it for us. Like, I definitely see where some of that takes place too. So I hope for environmental, but I definitely see the nuclear war being the heavier potential for us to go to space. And Dave, I do agree with more of the threat of as opposed to the actual.
Skynet.
Yep. Or AI slowly convinces us that it's the only potential we have.
Oh yeah.
And then AI takes over the Earth.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
All right. Well, let's go a little less serious, because I feel like those three were a little more. Let's talk about the world and the state we're in. This film is often noted as, it's a Disney Pixar, and especially heavier on the Pixar side. These movies, especially at least like I would say pre-Good Dinosaur, whatever year that came out, they're almost always known. Pixar is known as being pretty charming films. What specifically do you think made WALL-E itself so charming?
I think how they did the relationship that was built with those two robots. I'll be honest with you. When the movie first started, I was like, I don't know where this is going to go. But by the end, Wally had kind of captured me so much that whenever she changed everything out and he didn't respond to her, I was like, no, it's not Wally. It's not Wally. So I mean, I just think how they did the robots with their personality and how they interacted with each other, I think it was just extremely charming.
Yeah, I like the beginning of this movie. You would have thought this has been this Armageddon wasteland. It's just something. We want to see a human just out there picking up scrap. You wouldn't think you see a robot, but the thing is, once they kept building on to this, kept going in, and brought in the interaction between Wally and Eve. That's what's brought a lot of attention to it and brought the audiences into the movie, kind of invested it in those two robots. I can care. I mean, look at it when he gets into the spaceship, the interaction between Wally and the human beings that he knocked over and helped. Oh, I know that person. That's Wally.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it made Wally a lovable character, and that's what Pixar and Disney would do with it, especially in The Good Dinosaur. They found one character to make it a relatable character to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that I would say that made it so charming is there was not a lot of dialogue. There wasn't. I mean, you had the Wally and Eve, or and that was it. For a lot of it, that you didn't have robots talking, back and forth. We just saw Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's not like we had Data walking around and doing, and having conversations and things like that. It was very simplistic, but it was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, and I think that's the heart of it, is how simple it was, but you still are able to watch and enjoy and be carried through a story. And I think overall, I think it's the story that drives it. And then Pixar, at least at this point, again, I think Pixar, as all things have, they change. And I don't think they've changed necessarily greatly, but I look back to Wall-E and I look at films they make now and I'm like, man, it's just different. But I think part of what makes it so charming is just they ask questions like, well, if these robots can't talk, how do we make them tell a story? And I think just that idea of like, well, we need to animate it this way, and we need to do this, and challenging themselves as a company to do stuff like that over the years, I think that's what allows them to have and carry such a charm. But again, I think they've started to go more, well, we need to make a movie, so let's roll with it. And so I do think that's where, especially this age of Pixar, Ratatouille and Wall-E and Up, and they just tell these beautiful stories that are so charming. And I think it's just their ability to tell a story and challenge themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And, speaking of that story, and this one, Wall-E has a lot of robots. Which one do you want to be?
Come on.
That's hard. That's hard.
All right.
That's very hard because comparatively, if I had to choose one, it'd be the one cleaner, the robot that was cleaning. I'm going dirt. It's out of my line. I can't go there. Oh, hold still. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, okay, good. I'm going to push the border. He never gave up.
It's true.
True.
Shane, Dave?
I'm trying to pull up a picture here. So
okay.
Well, while he's doing that, I think I'd want to be Wall-E. I mean, now I'd have to be him, not just a robot like him, because robot like him would be kind of sad. But I think I'd want to be Wall-E.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Save image. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can put this up here. Present image file.
This has such a build up.
I know.
Yeah.
Not working.
I'm gonna bet it's autopilot.
It's not working.
He must be the villain.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I could just share. Maybe I could just share the screen. I'll just share the screen then. All right.
There you go.
I would be Starscream.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, it'd be fun. Be able to fly
Oh my
around, do
gosh.
stuff, transform. No.
Well, see,
I know that's wasn't part of this movie, but
I'm
think
about
I'd
to say,
like
if
be
we're
the-
doing
the little
Transformers,
guy.
I want to change my answer.
Yeah.
we can do any other robot. I will change my answer too.
See,
No,
Dave's
he said what?
interpretation is bringing a robot into that world.
He says,
Gotcha.
"What type of robot would you want to be in this world?" Doesn't say I
Okay.
have to be from this movie.
No, he
Okay.
changed the question then.
Because
right.
I would change mine.
That's what it says on the text.
I mean, that is literally what it says. But Chad and Shane had the original intent, so
Well, I'm changing. Here's this. What's
Okay, no. Seriously, for in the movie, I really liked the little guy that was cleaning.
Yeah.
I thought he was cool. He's going on. Oh
He
man,
was
you know,
He was cool.
and that, yeah. I mean, Wally was cool, but you know,
now see, I
He
want to
was
be the
old,
broken tennis ball shooter. Then I just go around firing tennis balls at everyone. I'd have a good old time.
the robot is the boxer.
So
Yeah,
that's
the
the one
boxer
I was
guy.
thinking too.
the boxer
Yeah.
guy was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and he saved the day at the end.
Yes, he
True.
did. Yes, he did. Something I forgot to do in behind the scenes, and I don't know, maybe we'll just start doing it this way. Rotten Tomatoes. What do y'all think? Did Rotten Tomatoes give this a good score or a bad score?
Good score.
Good
Good.
score.
I think higher than 80.
Yeah,
Wow.
95.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Rotten scored. They did. Rotten Tomatoes did a 95. Okay, the budget was 180 million. Did it make money?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
the start of a new streak for everyone.
585.
580. Oh, you're going specific. Okay.
I
I'll
am.
say 500. 500.
I say it
500?
made money, big money.
Okay. It made 521 million total. So
Hey,
Shane's a
listen, you
little
guys let me
closer.
guess that correctly one time, though, and I'm going to lose it in a good way.
but yeah, no, it made good money. I mean,
Big money, big money.
It was like you guys said, it was a lovable movie.
It was.
You know, there was nothing wrong with it. Heck, I watched it with my 3-year-old grandson. You know, because I knew it was a wholesome movie, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know, and of course he would just be like, ooh, 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 ooh,
Mommy,
look,
mommy.
look, robot, robot. You know, so it was adorable. It really was. Okay, but with every movie, there always has to be plot holes. Okay, somebody jump in with their.
Let's see, I got this one. So ready.
All right, John, go ahead. Do it.
My biggest plot hole, and it really throws the whole film into asunder, is how did any of them become sentient? Like, that's not what they were programmed to do. Like, they weren't programmed on an AI at all.
Right.
And even Hal really wasn't trained to be AI. Like, he wasn't necessarily made to make decisions. He may have had like a decision tree programmed in, but he wasn't designed to be AI. So I'm
You
wondering
called
how
him Hal.
Wally became sentient. Eve became sentient. Hal became sentient.
All of
All
them.
these broken
All
robots
the
become
palette.
sentient. And how? They were programmed to literally do a task. How did they become sentient? And
No,
to me,
see-
that throws the whole film in the trash, that
It-
one plot hole. But
John, his name was Otto.
Auto.
He was the autopilot, and you kept calling him Hal. So,
I don't
Wow.
care.
that's
He might as
perfect.
well be Hal.
Exactly.
See, autopilot was
Golly.
the only exception. I think it was programmed to be AI because why would they make a protocol to, hey, this is for autopilot eyes only? Why would they do that? I think he was the only one to be AI to be controlling the ship now.
Mm.
So the other big plot hole, why was Wally the only one that's there working? How was he able to fix himself and know, hey, my eyes is going bad. Let me this. Oh, let me
Mhm.
change out my my tracks. Oh, when I get it, let me take my tracks off. The little things that you see, that was convenient plot holes. I'm going to say about this. Wally with the fire extinguisher. We went over this 1,000 times, especially in Gravity. You can't control yourself with a fire extinguisher.
Yep. Yep. Shane, how about Eddie?
My biggest one was with the ship. How did the ship sustain itself for that long in space? Like, what did
Good one.
like how did they how did they have enough food? How did it
Yeah, what did they
refuel?
eat?
Especially
It's-
since they were that I
700
can't think of the
years?
word.
The Olympics.
Obese?
Yes, well, that too. But just, I mean, they weren't doing anything. So obviously everything was upsized. They even showed that in the movie. Like everything was upsized, everything. So how did the ship sustain itself? That's the thing I would like to know.
See, they were
Yeah.
supposed to only be there for what, 5 years, 15,
Yeah,
and they was
And
there
it
And
for
it was
was
there
700.
700.
700 years.
But the thing is, they also said in they're involved. From being even when they found the plant protocol, hey, y'all gonna be able, when you get to Earth, your bones is decreased in where it was to very little, so you're gonna have to start walking more, and you'll be able to build it back.
You
I'm
build
like,
your bones back.
you build your bones back. Really? You build your bones back? How?
You'll build your bones. I was gonna say the moment they land on Earth, they would have all of their bodies would have just crumpled
Jello.
with that gravity.
Straight jello.
Gravity. Yeah.
You know, that for one, these are ones that I noticed. I mean, the plant. As soon as Wally opened the plant to show Eve in space, guess what? The plant's dead. You know, it would have froze immediately. Why? Why did she have a laser? You know, if her whole purpose was to go and search out for plant life, and why didn't autopilot stop sending them out if he didn't want to go back? You know, those are just some of the big ones. You know, that I was like, okay, then. And of course, wasn't it very convenient that the landing pad still was there and it worked fine
True.
for Axiom to land? You know,
True.
I mean, that was a convenient plot hole.
Power
But-
still on Earth?
Yeah, well, no. I mean, you had one plant, and then guess what? Wally took it. So
Yeah. Now there's
that doesn't necessarily mean that it's life sustaining. It's just one plant made it. And how did that plant make it? Is what I want to
Yeah.
know. It was inside a refrigerator. So how did it get any sun?
True.
All this is true. They still have power all over Earth. How do they have power? Who knows?
Solar panels. They said solar. Everything's solar.
Well, everything was solar, but come on now.
Well, by and
Why-
large is a battery supplier because all of the Toy Story toys, they're by and large batteries. So,
By and large, everything was by and large.
Stuff goes bad. Come on now. They get
Solar
stuff.
panels, then they can fix themselves.
actually, it turns out Wally's just a cannibal and he ate everything else on Earth and sustained just what he needed to.
Okay,
Yes.
I got one more plot hole, and I am kind of. How did they have babies if they never touched each other?
It's the
I'm not
Just
Matrix.
saying, I mean, in the movie they were like, oh, hey, hi.
Science, Dave.
The Matrix.
Petri
It's the
dish.
Matrix.
I'm gonna say Petri dish.
Let's rate this. All right, we are now going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. And John does not have it in the spreadsheet. So, John, you get to go first since you picked this movie.
I do not, and that's because I genuinely wanted to talk about it first. I think at first it was a solid 5 for me, and really, in a lot of ways it still is. Music, graphics, the story, all wonderful, and like we talked about, very charming. However, and this is probably more shocking because it's me saying this, I do have to take half a point because those plot holes are real gaping, and I do think it is a wonderful film. It's a real charming film. But if we're going to do and be the podcast that we are, and I got to be fair to other movies we've rated that did not have as big a plot holes that are still nice and big 5s, I can't put this one there with those because these are pretty big plot holes for sci-fi. So I'm a 4.5.
4.5. All right, Chad.
All right. I gotta be agreeing with John here with a big plot hole, just because, hey, it's a great movie. It could have been a 5. It had all these plot holes and just been what it was. I can't make it a bill one because it's a great movie. With that and with all this, I'll give it a 4.5.
Okay. Shane, it's on you now.
So I really enjoyed this movie. I thought, like we talked about, it was very charming. I felt like the storyline was very good. They really made you love these characters, even though they are just robots or whatever. They did a great job with it. John mentioned the music. The music was phenomenal. He did a great job of really not only providing themes for the characters, but really manipulating the sounds and everything so that it really felt real and authentic. I thought it did a great job. There were some plot holes. I thought the beginning of it was a little slow, but it really picked up. So I would probably give this a solid 4.
All right. And I have teeter-tottered all day on this. I actually, because my wife watched the movie with me, and I was like, oh man, how am I going to rate this? Because it was a charming movie. Tons and tons of plot holes. And being the sci-fi guy that I am, that really kind of irks me. What really irks me though the most is I didn't care for being bashed over the head about the environmental issues. I thought that it was fine, but I just thought, okay, you don't have to go ahead and make it that oh man, okay, we got to get away from the world, because we've left it in such a bad place and all that. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on this so many times. I think I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit generous. For me, I'm going to give it a 4. I honestly, I actually thought about 3.5 for a while, but it was an enduring movie. It really was fun. I didn't care for it being bashed in my head about environmentalism, but I got to take myself out of that and take myself out of the plot holes. It was a fun movie. It was, like Shane said, it was slow at the beginning and then it picked up. So I'll give it a solid 4. All right. Now we get to talk how we want to fix or improve this. And I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would say don't make it so. I mean, yes, you could say that the environment and all that, and Wally was out there doing what he did, but I don't know. The beginning part just seemed like it just kind of drug on. Make some things happen more than just like lightning, and he's up there with the umbrella. Make some things, where he's in peril or something, or something, just to kind of give it a little bit more spice at the beginning. And why didn't they make Wally into a recycling machine instead of just a compactor? I mean, otherwise you're just taking big trash and making it into little trash. It's still trash. It's still there. How are you going to get rid of it?
I think the more we talk about this, it's going to be more. You're going to find more plot holes. Thing is, Wally was small. Look at the ones on the ship that was just like Wally. Big ones.
Yeah, those were Wall
A's.
Mm-hmm.
Why wasn't they just another? Why didn't they do Wall A's on the Earth and have Wally on the ship?
Yeah, I don't know.
A comes before E, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
Except after C.
Yes.
Here comes the teachers out.
That's right.
That's a joke because it's I before E.
I know.
Just for clarity. And even then, that rule doesn't fit because English stinks.
Yes.
No,
Honestly, I think we just got to fix the sentient problem. That's
Yeah.
my fix. But
fits where they don't learn. I'm sorry. This was a cute movie. Wally and Eve falls in love. Yeah, stop that. That's sentient.
Well, but that's the whole premise of the movie. If you take that out, you don't have a movie.
Yeah,
You don't get the connection.
Yeah,
you don't get the connection. I mean, maybe have it be a weird circuit or hey, they got visited by an alien. I don't know, but something to make them, some kind of AI that was in them to, it could be like RoboCop. Remember on RoboCop how they would say, at the beginning when he first booted up, you could see it had the directives, coming across the screen, what he was looking at. Something like that. It could be simple as, hey, AI directive, this, survive at all costs, blah, 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 or something.
Yes, I mean,
then it would make more sense that he was able to expand beyond his original programming.
Yeah. But the thing is like, cut out some of the stuff at the beginning. You don't need to see all that. Oh,
and the fire extinguisher.
Yeah. Take the fire extinguisher out. I am sorry. That's been done
way too many times and it doesn't work.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, take that out. Like, make it something else that's not just trash. Make it's just find some. Don't just see trash and you still see trash there and still more trash because it's cubed up and made like skyscrapers. Why skyscrapers? Why not have it put it in the ship where it's the ship's having it, not on the ground. That way it's out of the way. It's cleaned.
Yeah.
Incinerator or something.
Yeah, something.
Burn it off. Or, and then now after so many times, that now Wally's going around struggling to find items.
Yeah.
To survive on. I don't know. Yeah. Shane, you got anything?
The only thing that I would have liked to have seen a little bit more is a little bit more at the beginning, maybe talking about how they got to where they are. Kind of think about how the movie 9 started, where it gave a little bit of background beforehand. Then we kind of got into the story. I think that could have enhanced it a little bit. I don't think that's a make or break thing, just because it was a really good story. It was well done. But I think that maybe could have added a little bit more.
More than just the newspaper clipping
Exactly.
that was on the ground saying, oh, the world is blah, 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 and they're leaving. Or have more of those instead of just the one that you only saw the one.
It's in the company name B&L, by and large. Hey, they bought in large for so many years. Probably do the trash. Where you gonna put all the trash by and large?
Right. Just a little background.
Yeah.
John?
I said mine was just fix the sentient problem. Give us something. Just a here's why they became that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Direct to Enterprise.
Please contact us. Tell us if you agree with our ratings or how you would fix or improve this movie, or if there's a movie that you would like us to review. The easiest way to do that is if you're watching us on YouTube is to comment below. For those of you that are audio-only listeners, you can reach us on either X or Facebook at TheseSciFiGuys. Or you could email us, TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. So coming up next is going to be, we had a really good time this last week. We did Beyond the Big Screen. It was our first one we did. And we're going to continue that again this week. Our next one will be the original Battlestar Galactica from 1978. It will probably elicit a lot of questions about the new series, if you even know there is a reboot. But we can all discuss about all that later. But for those of you that are like, okay, well, those are great, I just want to deal with movies. Well, our next movie is something that's really close to me. It's a very poetic, very I'm trying to think what's the good word.
You trying to sell this movie to make people like it?
It's something that when you think of artist, when you think of the great artist, the Michelangelo.
He is selling this so hard.
Yeah, he's selling this so hard. We already
Ninja
sci-fi here.
Bum, 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 bum.
And
Ninja Turtles.
we also
Turtle
will have at least one, maybe two special guests on. I have invited those sci-fi guys to come on and talk about this movie because they just recently talked about the sequel, the second one, but they never talked about the first one. So
How can you
we're gonna
talk
be
about
doing
the
the
second
first
one
one.
without the first one?
I don't know. Ask them. Ask them when they come on. But yeah, we're going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original movie, not the CGI one. This is the one where they got all the big rubber suits on.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, hot as they have been hot.
the one that was I quite enjoyed that. So
Mhm.
I love
Uh,
those movies.
fives all the way across.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You already know it's going to be with me. 5.
But no, it's seriously, we who actually picked that one?
You
I think
did.
you did, Chad, didn't you? Did I pick it?
I think it was
I
me.
didn't.
No, Shane
You-
picked it.
I think I
Is
picked
Shane or
it.
Dave?
It was Shane.
Well,
No,
it
I
wasn't
picked the
me.
one after that. Now Shane either we'll talk offline on a couple other things. So afterwards. Anyway, we appreciate you guys all out there watching us, listening to us, whether you're on the audio or you're actually watching us here on YouTube. Just remember, no matter where you go, there you are. Until next time.
Crash and burn.
The Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast by the Sci-Fi Guy Productions. For more information on upcoming episodes, follow us on Twitter or X at the Sci-Fi Guys. For our audio-only listeners, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Like, subscribe, or leave a comment to let us know how we're doing.